At these brothers. And let's have a real conversation real quick, man. I don't claim to know everything, man. Matter of fact, there are a lot of areas in life where I wish I was better at certain things. Like I wish I was a better businessman. I wish I knew all the ins and outs of running a business and marketing and all this kind of stuff. I would probably be worth millions. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had the ultimate knowledge when it comes to maintaining a relationship. I probably would have been married for 20 or 30 or, whatever years by now. And some other areas of life that I wish I was better at, right? But one thing, man, that I've always been solid in is being able to see what moves need to be made before that time hits. And this goes back to when I was a teenager. Back when I was 17, 18, I saw that the way that I was moving was going to put me in a situation that I didn't want to be in. I saw it in my 20s when I needed to do something different. I saw it in my 30s. I saw it in my 40s. And I always put myself in a different situation because I saw the road that I was leading towards. Kind of like when I'm always talking about, when I was in my 20s and I saw them, the company I worked for, laying all these guys that were 40 and 50, laying them off. I saw the writing on the wall. I said, you know what? When I get to a certain age, I better have a plan B in place or I'm going to be in that line. And lo and behold, when I hit 40s, man, we were having all these, and I saw, people around me getting let go, trying to figure life out. So I've always been able to see things before, see what moves need to be made, right? And I'm gonna tell you this. I said that to say this. If you're still moving like you did in 2019 and prior to that, brother, you are going to take one of the largest L's in life, and you're going to take that L later on in life, as opposed to being a young person. If you're still moving like you did in 2019 and prior to that, you are going to take an L. Like you have to start thinking different. You know what I'm saying? And when I say if you're still seeing the world same, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about like the way you think about money, the way you think about your career, the way you see God, the way you see how relationships supposed to be ran. I've said this a billion times, man. Like the world is resetting itself, and it's resetting itself in every category. So if you're still thinking on this old programming, man, you're going to take an L. Not saying 100% of people, but the majority of people, like life isn't going to pan out the way you think it is. Meaning if you're still spending money, if you still put weight, or put your security in certain things, it's not going to work, man. Like it's time, one area of life, man. It's time to stop trying to look successful and trying to look rich and start being smart. I'm always talking about this 100-year section of life. Like we're in the 100-year section where we have a lot of opportunities that our grandparents and some of our parents didn't have. But at the same time, if we still move with this pre-2020, I want to stun on everybody. Look at me. I ain't got but $100 in the bank, but my life looks like, if we're still living on that, bro, it's not going to pan out like you think it is. Like the first thing is you have to stop. You have to stop trying to flex on everybody. And let me say this first, because I always got to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not saying don't win. I'm not saying if you want to go get the Jaguar and all the, I'm not saying don't go get those things, but make sure you're in the right mindset when you go purchase these things. You know what I'm saying? Like if you aren't purchasing these things strictly for you, and you're purchasing these things, man, like strictly to stunt on your next door neighbor, strictly to stunt on people for Instagram and the book, it's not going to end the way you think it is, bro. I'm telling you this. It's not going to end the way you think it is. Like if you're in a position now and you can see the writing on the wall and you want to put yourself in a better situation, I would advise you to sell the Lamb truck. I would advise you to sell the G-Wagon, sell the Range Rover, man. Go and get you a Prius. You know what I'm saying? Go and get you a Ford Ranger. Because you got to understand this. And I learned this over the last I'll say my last 5 years of working in the workforce. I learned so much money. I learned so much about people that really had money. People that really have money, they move different. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about the guy that I learned that I got the I can't think of his name now. When I talked about, I might not have talked about that on YouTube. It might have been Power Circle, but a guy that kind of flipped his business over the 5 year. But I remember one time I went to it was like when I worked at Cummins, it was like my boss's boss's boss. Like he was on up there, man. He had a like a little shindig at his crib, man, out there in what's that rich part of Nashville? It might hit me in a minute. But he had a party at his house out there, man. His house was like it was like 3 stories, big basement. It was a multi-million-dollar house, man. And I remember going in his garage. This brother had an old man. It was like an old Ford Dually, and he drove it to work. He wanted a big dog. He's driving this old Ford Dually to work, and I believe his wife or his second vehicle, because she might not work. She might not have worked. She had like a Prius, right? Now he did have one car. If y'all ever seen that episode of y'all remember that show called Fools? The Fools Wheel guy used to remake those cars. If you ever seen that episode where that guy had that Camaro redone, blue Camaro, that was him. I believe that was his dad's Camaro, and because that car was there also. But man, people that really have money, they're thinking smart. They're thinking on a whole different wavelength. This man probably had millions in the bank. He's not thinking about flexing on nobody. People that are normally flexing, not everybody, because some people flex, they got it. They just move different, man. So it's time for us to start thinking different. Sell the G Wagon if you're trying to put more money in the bank, because you have to start thinking long term. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this. If nothing else, like what we're seeing with these like the whole SNAP benefits, the welfare, the government assistance, food stamps situation. If nothing else, that what they're saying may be possibly a complete forever removal of that system. That should teach you something, man. It should teach you that the government or the system that we play this game in really doesn't care. And see, a lot of people can look at this whole SNAP benefit removal or delay or whatever it is going on, and they can kind of see, oh, like, man, like the world is real. Like some could really, but see, you see that, and it seems so urgent because you're talking about a lot of people getting affected. But for some reason, we don't see where the same system is raising the cost of food, raising the cost of healthcare. We really don't see it because we're in it. But I believe this is kind of giving everybody some hard evidence, man. It's like, and I'm not here to crap on America, but one, us living in America, man, it's like that frog in the water scenario where they cut the heat up just slowly to the next thing you know, you're boiling and you don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? America is a beautiful place, lots of benefits, freedom, the whole shebang. But at the same time, man, we're people in America get taken advantage of. Bottom line, I ain't finna go because the video ain't about that. But you have to start thinking different, man. Even when it comes to, and I know this is a big conversation amongst us, man, men and women. Even this whole 50-50 conversation. Well, men, women, 50-50, da. I'm gonna tell you what I noticed. One thing I noticed over here, and this is not a video to compare Thailand to America and that stuff, but what I noticed over here is like that conversation. It isn't even a real conversation over here. That conversation isn't even a real conversation over here. Like when you see couples talking about moving forward, like I'm not saying I've been here long enough or seen a multitude of conversations, but I've seen enough conversations to understand that the culture is not about a woman being put on a pedestal and giving this soft life. So, while her man is kind of going through the gauntlet, making things happen. And I'm not saying a man shouldn't provide and a woman should stay at home, but that's not the culture here. I see more about, hey, you know what? You do this part, you go out and do X, Y, Z, and I'll be doing this right here. I'll be selling fruit and getting online, pushing TikTok, whatever, while you're doing this. Like we're moving toward this together. So I'm gonna tell y'all this, brothers. As much as us as men love a healthy relationship and love to have a beautiful woman in our life and all this kind of stuff, don't fall victim to what society is preaching, saying you got to make, $150,000 and your wife got to be able to wake up every day drinking mimosas and eating grapes while you bust your ass. If that's not your style, if you ain't got it like that, don't move in that energy. Don't let some of these dudes get online and when I say that, you got to understand, I'm not saying if you got the bag, if you get into the paper, as we all should, I'm not saying if you can let your wife stay at home, don't let her stay at home and take care of things at home, take care of the kid. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if that's not your speed, don't let these guys getting online, like the guy to get online and say, I see him come on videos, man. He'll come online and say, he had these 30, 45-second videos. He'd be like, right now, send your girl $20,000 and tell her to go shopping. Send your girl $500. Send her girl $1,000 right now and tell her to go get her nails done. Don't let guys like that, man, put you in a situation where you think you got to move a certain way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Do what's right for you. And if a woman talking that talk, like, hey, you know what, man, leave them women alone and get you a woman that's saying, hey, babe, you know what? You do this, I do this, whatever that looks like for y'all, then move like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But don't let this 50-50 conversation, get you in a bind, bro. And again, when it comes to like impressing people, and I'm speaking on this not like, hey, look at Soul is not impressing people, because I've been a person that wanted to drive a certain thing and live in a certain place and live on a certain floor and wear a certain pair of shoes and to impress people like that. Even when I was doing that wasn't even my thing. I've always said on video, y'all know, man, that when it comes to style, and that's an area, like when I started the video, I said, hey, there's some areas I wish I was better in. I wish I was a brother with more style, and but that just ain't my thing. It's just not a thing to me. I got a closet full of about 30 black t-shirts, a few black pair of pants, a couple of camo pair, and that's what I wear. That's what I wear. Even if y'all have seen, like, before I moved, man, my closet, but I had all kind of clothes and shirts. Man, I probably had about 35 pair of jeans, all kind of button downs and coats and polos. I didn't wear none of that stuff, because when I got that stuff, it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Even this shirt I'm wearing right now, ain't no name brand on this shirt. I think I paid like 300 baht for this shirt. What's that, like $10? And rock it like it's a Pierre Cardin. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my thing. Because my goals are different, because I see what the world is doing. And 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll look back and say, you know what? I'm glad God put that thing in me to make that move and stop doing, because I saw the writing on the wall. Going back to when I was 17, I saw some things at 17. I said, you know what? If I don't change, I'm going to be stuck here, or I'm going to be in prison. I saw the writing, so I moved different. I saw the writing now. I saw the writing in 2019, so I started moving different. When I started moving different, it didn't make sense at the time, man. You know what I'm saying? So the next thing is, you got to go inside, man, and really figure out what your exit strategy is. You got to figure out what your exit strategy is. Now, of course, man, I work one-on-one with a lot of people, man. You need to, if you want to get into this digital space, man, check out Exit Strategies. That's a business I own. And we talk about getting this, getting the YouTube started, getting 7, maybe possibly 8 sources of streams of income, and find freedom. But when I say exit strategy, for the sake of this video, you have to find your exit strategy, because you got to understand the old system is phasing out. Again, and this is what hurts me, man. When I get online, when I get on TikTok, and I see these thousands of people, hundreds of people getting online, and they're saying, hey, you know what? My EBT is gone, and how am I going to feed my 6 children now? How am I going to do this? I saw some stories, man, where some people have been on EBT, which has changed names. Not EBT, it's EBT. EBT, SNAP, food stamps, like it's all the same system, I believe. But I saw one video, man, where they were saying all these people that's been on SNAP or food stamps for 20 plus years. 20 plus years. So, and I know everybody's situation is different. I know a lot of these people are working and getting that assistance, and they need assistance. But you're telling me in 20 plus years, especially the people that are getting food stamps and they aren't working, Like you got a lot of people, man, that are just getting government handouts. They're getting the $5 houses. They're getting the food stamps, and they just walking around twiddling their thumbs for 20 years. You telling me in 20 years you couldn't find something you were passionate about? It's time. It's time for you. It's time for you to go. What the world is doing. It's time for you to go inside and find that thing. And when I say it's time, meaning pre 2019, it was an option. Pre 2019, if you wanted to do a certain thing, if you wanted to do something extra, it was an option. But what the world is doing right now, you have to go inside and find that thing. It's kind of like what that quote. I'm not a quote, but it's kind of like that scenario I'm always talking about where Neville Goddard was at that radio station in California back in the 1956, 1957. And Neville was, I'm assuming I can only assume that things back in 1950 were similar to right now. Yeah, I know the same thing happens every 100 years. I'm always talking about that. And the guy was asking Neville, how do we, like what should be done now? So I'm assuming the world was in a state of chaos, kind of like it is now. And Neville said, there's going to be a point in time, man, where your religious systems won't work, your political systems won't be working. Everything you had faith in won't be working. Neville said the only thing that's going to work is you have to go inside. You have to go, in other words, you have to go inside and make that connection and see what it is God gave you. Because I'm going to tell you this. Some people say everybody don't have this. Everybody has something to go inside and give back to the world. Basket weaving. You know what I'm saying? You name it, whatever you name, there are 1 million plus people on the planet that are looking for that service. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get out of the mindset. You have to get out of the mindset, man, where, your whole goal, and really I'm speaking to younger people now, where, you're 19, you're 25, you're 27. You have to get out of the mindset where your whole goal is to go out and get certified to do a certain thing, and now you want to put yourself in the protection or the arms of some company to kind of let you ride to 65. And I'm not saying don't play that game. I'm not saying don't go get the degrees and get on with these jobs. I'm not saying that. But if that's your only source, if you're not doing that, if you're not working that good job at the same time going inside trying to see what's inside of you that you can do on the side, you know what I'm saying? You're setting yourself up for failure. Man, I think, what does it say? How many people have, I don't want to make some number up. I don't know if it's, but I know I've heard like Amazon have let go 30,000. UPS has let go 15,000, and all these other like you talking about several 100,000, maybe even millions of people in the U.S. that have lost their job over the last 30 days. Take that along with the EBT, along with everything else that's going on in society, brother. You don't understand. This world, Western culture, let me be specific, is on fire. It's on fire right now. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that we're in it, going back to the whole frog in the water, the fact that we're in it, we don't see it. And it's like, bro, I in 2019, and I'm not sitting there saying that I got it all figured out, or I'm Nostradamus or nothing like that. But I'm saying I saw that I had to do something different back then. I said, if I continue this course of action right now, like my life is not going to be what I think it's going to be. I wanted to be, all these things, but it's not. It's like I can see it's not going to be that if I keep doing what I'm doing. I got to go inside and find something different. And I'm telling you right now, it's not even an option at this point, man. So all I'm saying, as far as you finding your exit strategy, is go inside, man, find that thing and put a plan of action to it. I believe the video I posted yesterday, I was talking about this. I was talking about a man without an objective is pretty much just walking dead. But you have to make your objective. You have to make your objective how you're going to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not talking about coming from a scarcity mindset. I'm talking about coming from an abundant mindset. But you got to make how you're going to be living for the next 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, 100 years, whatever. You got to make that priority and say, you know what? If Sears and Roebuck, if Halliburton, if J.C. Penney, if all these companies come to me tomorrow, knock on my office door and say, hey, you know what? Come to the meeting, man. We want to meet with you with HR. When you're walking that green mile to that office, because I made that trip. When you're walking that green mile to that HR meeting, and you're 100% that's your last day in that company before they even tell you, I'm saying you don't want to be in that situation, man. So put your find make your well being make it your priority, man. Make it your objective and put a plan of action behind it, bro. And again, if you want to get in this digital space, get with me, man, on exit strategies. You know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't finna go, but I'm grateful to God, man, that He's shown me some things and put me in position to where I can live how I want to live, man. And it ain't about stunting; it's about freedom. It's about freedom. I don't care about stunting, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not even a thing to me. Cause I understand in the next 5-10 years, stunting won't even be cool anymore. It won't even be a cool thing anymore. So it's like, man, if you still living in that mode, man. And the third thing, man, is this. The third thing is you gotta understand, and I'll say this. One of the beautiful things that I love about what's taking place now, like the world being on fire, one of the beautiful things I love about it is that it's doing something in the West that should have never left. I'll just say it. It's going to put people in position to become stronger units, within their families. It's going to make families stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make, and I'll just say, man, like start looking at this different. That's all I'm gonna say. Start looking at family. Start looking at the people that are really in your corner. Start looking at family different. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my thing. This is just what blows my mind right here, man. It amazes me. It amazes me that a lot of us understand that the system is broken. Like I've said before, like when I say the system, it amazes me, like, when I say the system, meaning, come out of high school and go and get, $100,000 in student loan debt. All right, you got that. Go and buy a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house. All right, you got that. In the process of that, get married and to where you look up and you're 30 years old and you're half a meal in the hole. And now you're trapped for life. It's crazy how many of us acknowledge that system, but still let our kids come out, walk across that stage, get that diploma, and send them right out to the wolves. It's beyond me. We understand that a system is broken, but we just let our kids run through the gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, man, now I'm speaking to a lot of cultural. I'm speaking to cultures now, because everybody in the West doesn't move like that. Like a lot of, and I'll just speak to African American people. A lot of African American people, man, when they child cross that stage, they pretty much saying, "I'm done. I've done my job. Like, now go out there and get it. Good luck." It's like, if you know the system is broken, man, at least try to put your kids, give them an advantage, or give them the knowledge of, maybe you want to move different, maybe you want to da. A lot of us are just so eager to get back in the freaking streets that we just send our kids out to the wolves and say, "You know what? I'm free again." Like, don't be like that, man. Like don't be like that. Like, we have to get to the point where we're looking out for family, man. It's one thing. It's one thing, man. Like I've always applauded my mother or looked at her in a certain way because of a certain thing, man. My mom, very intelligent woman, very beautiful woman. It's almost like she ages in reverse, man. She's just like a phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about her, man, that stands out is when it comes to family, like, it's always been priority. And it may not be in the way she talks, or it's in what she does. Like, for example, like when I was growing up, when my grandfather died, like, my mom, regardless of what she had going on, where she lived at on the planet, she always made sure, like, my grandmother was set. When we lived in a certain part of East Texas, my mom moved my grandmother to a whole other city, put her on a whole plot of land, put her in a house, and my grandmother was good. When my mom moved to a whole nother city. She took my grandmother, put my grandmother in a whole nother house right there beside her, and took care of her until the day she died. Even now, with me being, 40 plus years old, almost 50 years old, my mom tells me all the time, like, hey, you know what? Whatever the world is doing, like, this is home. Man, like I said, my mom has, a billion acres of land. She has a big crib out there in the country, man, and she's always like, "Hey, this is your bedroom. This is your sister's bedroom. Like if anything goes to hell, everybody can come here." And that's a mindset, man. That a lot of us, because I can't speak to everybody. A lot of us need to incorporate family, man. Let's make sure our parents are good. Let's make sure our kids are going in a certain direction, or at least have a certain piece of knowledge, because the world is doing something different, man. It's doing something completely different. So again, we have to move different. I had a client yesterday, a client in Exit Strategies. I was talking to him day before yesterday, and he's a younger guy, mid-20s. He's mid-20s. And he was like, man, we're talking about his strategy, what he's going to do. He's like, yeah, man, I'm still living at home, and I'm trying to get out, and he's kind of contemplating on how he wants to move. I said, hey, let me just tell you this, man. Like, if you can still stay at home and there's peace, bro, stay at home and save that money and like I know you want to get out. I know you want your own crib so you can kind of chill and have a lady, whatever you want to do. But if you can still stay at home and there's peace, stay at the crib, man. And I can look at like some of the and since I'm from Texas, man, you gotta understand in Texas there's a heavy Hispanic culture there. In that culture, man, bro, they might build one big crib, and you'll see 3 or 4 generations in that sunbuck. And I remember growing up, a lot of people would make fun of that. But when you can look over the last 20, 30 years, how that culture has expanded, and now they're owning businesses and they're owning land, you understand the importance of it now. They're looking out for each other. Even before I moved here, right? The neighborhood I lived in was heavy Indian. Heavy Indian, man. Like, it's like my neighborhood was probably about 70 to 75% Indian. And I remember when I was driving down the highway, driving down the streets or walking the block, you would see grandparents out in the yard or in the garage playing with the grandkids. Like, they would have parents there, like they look out for each other, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's all I'm saying is, you might want to start bringing that back into the culture, man. You have to start thinking different. Again, we're in this 100-year cycle, man, where everything is resetting, so we have to do things differently. So look at everything different. Look at everything different, man. So all I'm saying is, yeah, you might have had a game plan pre-2020 that was going to set you up for success. But as you can see with the SNAP benefits, as you can see with the cost of things rising, that game plan, if you still try to run that play, yeah, you might get a victory, but it's almost like you're running a Hail Mary at this point. So all I'm saying is, think differently, brothers.